property prices, they've risen 0.8% in September. Auctions, well, they're stuck at 53%, and the RBA is on hold, but whispers of a hike, and the second biggest auction weekend for the year, and now 1 in 5 homes are selling off market. G'day folks, it's Matt Hayson here as we close out the month of September and we move into the fantastic month of October. We have a long weekend underway and school holidays as well, but the property market, as you know, never sleeps. Let's close off the month of September, which was somewhat of a strange start to spring. The latest Cotality data shows that Sydney prices rose 0.8% for the month. They're up 2.1% for the quarter and now 3% for the year. Now the auctions, they tell the real live story though. SQM data revealing on September 7, the clearance rate was sitting at 53.8% from 1,048 auctions. On September 14, 51.4% clearance rate from 1,115 auctions. On September 21, the market peaked with a 55.8% clearance rate, 1,266 auctions. And then last week we had the bumper weekend with 1,623 scheduled auctions and a final clearance rate at 53%. So the average clearance rate for the month sat at 53.5%, nothing particularly heated in that outcome. Also, the Reserve Bank has held the cash rate on hold at 3.6% this week. Governor Michelle Bullock making it very clear that further rate cuts may not be guaranteed if inflation continues to surprise. She went on to say that they are aiming for a 2.5% inflation level. So if we think we're not moving to 2.5%, then we may have to be thinking about our appropriate stance on policy. Some economists are calling this cycle 3 and out. Others are even suggesting that the possibility of a rate hike. Now, the sting in the tail is where inflation is coming from. Netflix, price rises, mobile phone plans, car repairs, and takeaway food. So these are everyday items, not luxuries. And if this is driving CPI, then the RBA clearly hasn't done enough to keep inflation under control, despite their recent confidence. Now into October, and the market seems to be at war with itself. We have prices rising, but the auctions remain fractured. Growth is being driven by entry-level properties, while the top end of the market remains fragile, and sales are taking a little bit longer to transact. Now, last week was the second biggest auction week for the year, just as we predicted a month ago when we said volumes would double, and double they have. Now, the supply is strong across all property price points, and more property is coming onto the market. October is set to be a huge month for Sydney real estate, but I would be very surprised if we see another 0.8% rise in prices, with supply rising and interest rates on hold indefinitely, and sellers above $4 million may need to temper their expectations. And then finally this week, a big theme coming out of the market is the rise of off-market transactions. In expensive Sydney markets, it now costs over $8,000 just to list your property on the two big portals of Domain and realestate.com. Now, sellers are pushing back on those costs and turning to alternatives. Buyer tracking is sharper than ever, and now 1 in 5 Sydney homes is selling without being listed online. Now, that number will only grow as artificial intelligence continues to reshape the way homes are sold. So, where does this leave this market? On the Cobden and Hayson Market Move Meter, I'm calling it a 6.8 out of 10. It's a market that rewards realism from both buyers and sellers. It's well priced, well presented, and well promoted. Those are the campaigns that are being rewarded in the market right now. But you step outside of that and the market is unforgiving. So that's what's going down in and around the market this week. It looks like an amazing weekend of weather, and we are opening plenty of amazing real estate as well. And I will catch you all next week.